Hello, everyone. Walk Hill Bethelite here. And Jehovah's Witnesses continue to brace for major losses in membership as their prediction that we are in the final part of the final hours, of the final minutes, of the final seconds of the last days until Armageddon comes is continuously proven false. We have them on video. In the past, they made false predictions that millions now living in that book that they produced would never die. Millions now living will never die. They're all dead. The generation of 1914 will not pass away until the end of the system is here. I don't know that any of them are alive. They're all dead too. They continue to produce false teachings, and you cannot equate Jehovah with not only falsehood, but a continuous stream of falsehood. They've been producing the opposite of the proper food at the proper time. They've been producing bad fruit, malnourishing fruit for over 100 years. You cannot equate that with Jehovah. It's going to be impossible for any member of that cult to defend these blatant, obvious false teachings and false predictions, and they can't figure out what their teachings even are. And because of that, you're going to have major losses on top of major losses. And what Jehovah's Witnesses are going to do, which is what they're doing, is they're going to double down on disfellowshipping. Disfellowshipping is a fear tactic. It's not in the Bible. Look up the word disfellowship in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. There's no model in the Bible for a group of people who don't understand the Bible, who spread false teachings, to be the moral police. That doesn't exist. In the Bible, you have an apostle of Jesus Christ, and they are giving instruction to Christians. That is completely and totally different from a group of people who have been teaching false teachings for well over 100 years, trying to be the moral police over their small little sect. There's no comparison at all. And the blatant, obvious, blatant and complete, obvious cult tactic that every cult uses to try to hold on to their members as it becomes blatantly obvious that this cult is collapsing is some form of shunning. Every cult, I'm talking Scientology, would call people who told the truth about the cult of Scientology, they would call them what? Suppressive people. and that you're not supposed to talk to them. Every cult you can think of has had to come up with some way of suppressing the truth, and the truth is all around them when they come up with teachings and those teachings don't come true. So for Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't just have in writing all those false teachings that they have taught over the years about Jerusalem falling in 607 BCE and about Armageddon coming in 1975, and then about the Armageddon is going to come because the generation that Jesus was talking about before all these things occur was the generation of 1914. All these false teachings we have in writing, now we got them in video. Now on video, we have got Stephen Lett, face of a madman, talking about, brothers, we are in the final parts of the little bits of the incy-wincies of the time of the end. Armageddon is imminent. Like, if you just look at the man, you should know that something ain't right with him. But if he is on video producing yet another false teaching, Jehovah's Witnesses are going to have to brace for continuous massive losses, and a religion can only continue to lose members for so long. You have all these Jehovah's Witnesses saying, hey, we're still here, as they continue to hemorrhage members. You got some saying, hey, well, we're still here, as if that somehow negates the fact that they're continuously hemorrhaging members, and continuously, and quite foolishly, I might add, publicly making false predictions about Armageddon. Still, they cannot continue this model. People thought they were going to change the model when they said, well, men, you're allowed to wear beards. The word governing body is not even in the Bible. A group of people who tell men how to wear beards, or if they're allowed to wear beards, this is not even in the Bible. Okay, this is just getting ridiculous to the point where the only reason why Jehovah's Witnesses are really still around is, A, the governing body don't want to be homeless. There's this big thing in front of all of our eyes when we're asking, are these people who keep making false predictions, keep on making false prediction? Like, you've got governing body members that are so old, they've seen all of their teachings come up false. And you're wondering, do they still believe that what they have accumulated, this group of false teachers, what they've accumulated, do they believe that this really is the one true organization? I don't even know how you could say it. How true? The one and only false organization that God is using to spread falsehoods all around the world and keep changing them around? No, they don't believe it. The governing body does not believe Samuel heard sitting there like a shriveled up prune with his beard now doesn't believe that it's the truth. He just don't want to be homeless. He old. His bones are aching. He's having to shop for Pampa. When's the last time you saw of Brother Hurd him from the waist down? Typically, what I've seen, and you guys can send me the links to the videos and we can examine them. If there are videos showing him from the waist down, typically when I see Hurd, I see him from the waist up. They're not showing from the waist down. I think it's because not only have they doubled up on this fellowship teaching, but they've doubled up on his diapers, right? Because you can only, do so much in one pamper where you need to double up to keep all that mess inside. Just like Watchtower is just spewing false teachings everywhere. You've got elderly governing body member with explosive diarrhea needing pamper doubled up, tripled up. And what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to go get a job now? You think that Sam Hurd is going to tell the truth? Hey, we got it all wrong. We got it all wrong. I don't know why y'all continuously follow people who publicly get it all wrong continuously over the course of 100+ years. But obviously, we are not the same as the first century Christians who were following either Jesus or Jesus appointed apostles, right? We're not that. We're not even close to that. We don't understand the Bible, obviously, which is why we keep getting everything wrong. So if Sam Hurd and the other governing body members were to come forward and say that, not only would the governing body members then need to go and find themselves some other form of employment because you're bad at deciphering scripture, but everyone else at Bethel would. When people ask, do the governing body believe it? Come on. The answer to that question is right in front of your eyes. It's called Bethel. It's called, you have this legal organization, right? Jehovah's Witnesses like to brag about an organization. Stop it. My dog could make a religious organization in America. Any of us could. In America, anybody can start a religion. So this concept that being a part of a religious organization is uppity, is false, is stupid, it's foolishness. Anybody can start a church. You could start one in your house. You could start one in a tree house, for crying out loud. Just being a part of a religious organization is nothing to brag about. Every swindler in the history of the country has been able to start a church. None of us can sit here and list off verbally all the different religious denominations because they're darn near countless, because it ain't hard. It ain't like you're a part of Microsoft. It's not like you're a part of a major company that has accomplished things that no one else has. There's a small group of people that are members. Like Google, if you're working for Google, wow, that's nice. If you're working for Microsoft, wow, that's nice. If you're working for the FBI or the CIA, that's interesting, that's nice. If you are a part of a religious organization, who ain't? Who ain't? I can go join 5 of them today if I wanted to. So this foolish notion that Jehovah's Witnesses have that we're in an organization. Oh, wow, my illiterate behind is in an organization. So I'm just uppity and head all up in the air, nose all up in the air. It's foolishness. It is complete and total and utter foolishness. Everybody in a religious organization, everybody can start one. The real issue is you got all these people at Bethel, not just governing body members, they're helpers, Bethel elders, other members of that religious organization. All of them gonna be home. All of them gonna be looking for another job if they were to come forward and do that. Toni Morris has got a house, but who knows if it's completely paid for? How he paying for that? If the whole organization, that whole religious organization were to just completely admit everything to be false. So they have financial reasons to want to continue to push the lie. That is a blatant, obvious lie. That God is using them to spread all these false teachings. Jesus is Michael the archangel, right? They don't really talk about that too much, but that's the teaching. The whole anointed were slowing down. There weren't that many people partaking because Armageddon was about to come. And now the numbers of anointed people or people that are partaking the emblems in that insane religious organization, the numbers are going back up. People are starting to think they're anointed again in that religious organization. It's obvious. So no, there isn't a governing body member that actually thinks it's the truth anymore. But you have all these people who have spent years and years and years and years of their lives, and now they're at Bethel, and they've been there for years. Off in Warwick. And I don't think Sam Hurd wants to start filling out applications right now to be a Walmart greeter. And Stephen Lett definitely won't be able to pass an interview. Could you imagine interviewing Stephen Lett and he's telling you all of his qualifications? And I was a member of Watchtower for all these years, and we would get together, we would organize things. Like all that craziness would hit the person that's interviewing him, and he wouldn't get the job because, brother, that's going to scare away all the customer. The only people crazy enough to be drawn to that are insane cult members. So all these people would have to just start another cult. That's the only thing they would be qualified to do. And instead of admitting the truth, knowing they're not going to get another job like it and having to start a new cult, they'll just continue to push the old cult. But the issue is they're going to continue to hemorrhage members. Not only Are they going to hemorrhage members because it's just blatantly obvious? We got you on video talking about this is the last of the last of the last of the last days. The Great Tribulation ain't even started. Religion is just as protected as it's ever been in America. Nothing even close to the government turning on religion is even happening. Nothing even close to that is happening for them to even think that they're close to Armageddon. So we've got lies on video. We have a group of people who covered child molestation, and I'm talking thousands of cases of child molestation, trying to be the moral police. Like, just the pure stupidity of it is insane. There's no such thing as disfellowshipping, y'all. There ain't no such thing as a group of unqualified people trying to be your moral police. It don't exist. It ain't even in the Bible. In the Bible, there was an apostle giving out instruction. Right? Not Sam Hurd and Stephen Lett and just pure stupidity, right? So another reason is being ultra extreme in regards to sex. Let's face it, the cults that are ultra extreme don't do well when it comes to sex. They don't do well. Right? Because part of your membership is going to come from reproduction. In order to have reproduction, people got to be having sex, some sort of sex somewhere in order for you to reproduce members. The Mormons understand that. So the Mormons, you have Mormons dating non-Mormons, right? They're trying to bring in more people. They're trying to have people have more kids because that creates more Mormons, and one of the reasons why you have so many of them. Jehovah's Witnesses are the opposite. They don't want Jehovah's Witnesses marrying anybody from any other religious group. You end up with a younger person trying to date, and everybody in their hall is old, double down, triple chin like half the governing body, overweight like half the governing body, doubled up on Pampa like half the governing body, and you ain't got nobody to, but all these people outside of this little cult are starting to look pretty attractive to you. And they're trying to talk to you, and they're trying to ask you out on dates and what have you. Or if you're a guy, you're at work, and all these ladies at work are starting to look pretty attractive to you. Or at your daily ins and outs throughout the day, you run into people. Well, if you were to try to date one of them or talk to one of them, they would be called worldly, right? That Jehovah Witness strictness, that's not really, helpful for them even, right? You're ready to cast them out instead of embracing them and wanting to reproduce and that is in and of itself killing the cult, because you keep hemorrhaging members. Right? Yeah, every cult in the Heaven's Gate cult that all went and committed suicide, there's still a few members that are out believing that mess and looking for spaceships. So just having some members left isn't something to brag about. Oh, we're still here. Yeah, so is Heaven's Gate. You got some insane Heaven's Gate people still here, right? So just having some fanatics still around isn't something to brag about. So the super ultra strictness with sex and not wanting members to date people who are outside of your little small insane cult is going to backfire and cause them to not be able to replenish all these people that they're losing. Another issue, another huge issue is being treated poorly. Now, give me a show of hands. How many of you have been treated poorly by Jehovah's Witnesses? Whether it means you've been gossiped about, whether it means you've been shunned, whether it means you've got family that won't speak to you, whether it means you have people who are judging you. Give me a show of hands of people who have been poorly treated in that group of Jehovah's Witnesses. If you were to do that, all of you, if you've been in that religion, especially if you've been baptized, have been poorly treated. You are not going to hold on to members if you are treating them poorly. Jehovah's Witnesses have tried it all. They've tried to get people to come back. The issue is the culture amongst Jehovah's Witnesses are the same. They're still just as judgmental. You have a whole bunch of people who the reason why they're married is because they went and found somebody outside of the cult, brought them inside the cult, and now they are trying to counsel everyone else, telling them not to go outside of the cult and find someone. You got all that foolishness going on, and just it equates to just being poorly treated. Now, compare how you're treated. Compare that to a person who's not baptized. The people who are not baptized, oh man, they get invited to events. If they're not baptized, they get treated well. If you are baptized, then you're treated like scum. You're not invited to things. You're judged. You had better answer the questions at the Watchtower study. If you don't answer them questions at the Watchtower study, your own parents might not speak to you anymore. You are treated poorly. So how is that going to work? Where you have all these people, whether you are reproved publicly or disfellowshipped, or if you are inactive, it don't matter. You are going to be treated poorly. And in contrast, you see with your own eyes how hypocritical they are when it's a person who isn't baptized. If they're not baptized, they're treated great. Logically, think about that. Well, what's the purpose of getting baptized then? Don't get baptized then. That's destroying the membership. They're disfellowshipping and reproving and calling people inactive and judging them for not answering the stupid questions at the Watchtower study. And it goes on, and they're telling them who they can and can't date. And it just goes on and on and on. But a person who is not baptized, they treat all of them great. You're not going to keep all these members who you're treating poorly as they look and see how well you treat all these non-baptized people. Anybody that sees this is going to say, well, hey, I just ain't get baptized then. Watchtower says that you can all the way up to the last minute, another one of their changes, you can all the way to the last minute decide, oh, now I'm going to get baptized. Well, why get baptized then? If you get baptized, you're just going to get judged constantly, treated horribly. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. But the poor treatment, they are treating people horribly. How the heck are you going to keep them then? They're telling people they can't half date. Well, how the heck are you going to reproduce then? They're doubling down on the disfellowshipping and reading a scripture about an apostle giving instruction. That's different from just a group of people who are using Jehovah's name, which anybody could do because anybody could start a religion in America. Anybody could start a religion in America calling it Jehovah something. Anybody could. So there's no such thing as disfellowshipping. There's no such thing in the Bible as a group of people who keep teaching falsehoods, but they are the moral police. That don't exist in the Bible. So brace for impact, Watchtower. 2025 and beyond, there's going to be no explaining the foolishness. X-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.